Alright, so we have to do the change/scenario quest for the next memoir. Who owns the runestone? And oh my god. An elegant young woman in the simple black dress of a Lemmy-lark priestess stand in front of the church. Hi there, Usulif. Anything I can help you with? Is it Ursulif? Or is it Ursulif? Oh no, it's Ursulif. Because it's after a bear. You show her the runestone Duncan gave you. Oh, how lovely. Look how elaborate the engravings are. The person who lost this must be devastated. I was just at the magic school donating some holy water of Lemmy-lark. I overheard talk of mana stones there. It sounded like someone was doing research about them. Maybe the stone you showed me is one of them. Why don't you go to school and ask about it? The teacher of Turcanal Magic School is Lazar. Waves of her red hair come down to her shoulders. Judging by her somewhat small stature, well-proportionate body, and a neat two-piece school uniform, it isn't hard to tell that she is a teacher. What? The intelligent look in her eyes, the clear lip line and eyebrows present her as a charming lady. Are you Ursulif by chance? Haha, you look exactly like the way Beb him described it. I'm sorry. I apologize for laughing. Nice to meet you. I am Lazar. Hello, Ursulif. What's your business here? You show her the runestone Duncan gave you. Yes, this is a runestone and it contains very powerful mana. What you heard from Eldian is correct. We do have a resident researcher here, and his area of expertise is magical geology. So he probably knows a lot about both runestone and mana stone. I think he's taking a break at the back of the school right now. Actually, go and talk to him. He's wearing glasses. It's Stewart? Oh, some random guy. Bespectacled boy. Or said bespectacled boy. I don't know. A strange bespectacled boy in blue is standing in the magic schoolyard. He must be a boy Lazar mentioned, the one researching manstone runestones. Yes, so that would mean he's so deep in thought and he doesn't even notice you approaching. Just stare at him. In his fright, the boy nearly knocks his glasses off. What was that for? Are you trying to give me a heart attack? Yes. Abruptly shoved the runestone under his nose. Look at this. Do you know what this is? His eyes grows wide as a saucer the moment he knows the runestone and he stares at you incredulously. Where did you find my runestone? I didn't think I'd ever see it again. You see, I'm a mana stone research specialist. This stone was of particular interest to me because it contains someone's personal memories. I was researching how such a small runestone could hold such a powerful mana, and decided the best way to do it would be to visit Albi Dungeon to see the memories for myself. But well, I'm a terrible adventurer. I had to leave the runestone behind. I barely escaped with my life. He looks up at you with a mournful eyeful. You're Ursulif, right? You seem much stronger than me. Maybe you could go into Albi Dungeon to investigate the story behind this runestone. I mean, the last time I went, I struggled a bit. Those are some beefy spiders. What do you say? You're more than up to the task, right? Oh, who's this cutie? A woman with long, silky blonde hair stands before you. Is she the original owner of the runestone? Only the memory can reveal that information. I need to find some sort of clue. Wait, I feel it again. It's trying to lure other monsters to me. I don't have time for this. Time to get mean. Spinning slasher would be perfect move right now. Tap F3. Really? Seems just normal melee attack would be better. F5 for Raging Spike. Okay, now this seems useful. Man, look at that damage. Tap 2 key to make a dash to the enemy. Okay. From here. That's all. The F2, Chain Crush, and F1 are perfect for one-on-one combat. F2. Wow. 29k. Jesus, is she good. 13. Press 1 key to use Doka conversion. You can feel the slog consuming the Doka as you swing the blade. Okay. To be a successful chain slasher, you need to constantly evaluate how much Doka you can leech with each attack. That's the fundamental thing. Professor J is waiting for me. I better defeat the rest and get out of here. F4 for chain sweep? Question mark? I mean, wouldn't you know? And then some F5 here. Some F2. Some Doka leech. He's not alive, right? Oh, that was close. I almost died. And I should probably heal. This talent seems really good. These hairy leg monsters make my skin crawl. How do they always manage to find me? I'm alive! Never mind, I tried. I'm so sick of these formers, but what can we do to stop them when we don't have a single lead? I can't even find any clues in this area. Oh hey, it's the Aces? You cover so much ground already. How is it going? Find anything? Where's my quest thingy-majiggy? It's gone. I'm a ghost. I have powers in my hands. I'm just gonna leave. Hehe, all according to Cake. Kudos, you get the reference. How was your trip? What memories did you see? And whose were they? The runestone's gone, your head's still spinning like a top, but you describe what you saw. The boy's eyes light up with excitement as you talk. You saw a strange woman, and she was so powerful. That may explain the curious man on the runestone. It would be even hotter if she had a six-pack. I have to admit, I'm a tad miffed that you lost it, but I have little use for such petty emotions, especially when the things I truly wanted was a memory containing the runestone mana. That sounds like a bad guy. Sounds like what a bad guy would say. And I have that now, heh. So let's just move on, shall we? Heh, don't forget his words. Okay, magic tree. Tell Chief Duncan the item has been returned to his rightful owner. He doesn't need to know that's lost. So, you found the owner of the runestone. Did you give it back? Should I lie or not? I did not exactly give it to the owner. You tell Duncan everything that happened, I'll be honest. So the runestone was a cipher for memories. Interesting. Were you right to give Duncan that answer? You can't help but wonder. Ursula, there's something about you. Duncan gives you a solemn stare, biting his lip. Well, I mean to ask, are you well? I don't mean to offend, but there's something off about you. Something I don't know. Creepy. Is it my terribly good looks? I mean, I'm stunning. Now that he mentions it, you did hear that weird voice. Yeah, from that magical tree behind a magical school. In this magical world. It makes sense. Inside your head, but you don't want to talk about it. Imagine if I unlock plant powers. I worry about you. Keep your friends close and don't be afraid to ask for help, alright? You strain to remember, when did you start hearing the voice in your head? Was it after you saw that memory in LB Dungeon? Maybe you should search for the people you saw in the memories. Talk to Merlin near Turcanel Farmland. Professor J, Starlet, and Merlin. Is that their actual name? Sounds more like a title. Hey Ursula, what are you doing here? We're on a picnic. No need for sarcasm, Merlin. Oh, Professor, I'm not being sarcastic at all. I love being dragged out here for practically no reason. Merlin. I'm just trying to say. Merlin. Fine, never mind. That's a dope haircut, though. I know. It's just funny how Professor J's hands is like that. He's like, something's wrong with my hand. I know it's a shot in the dark, but it's too important to give up hope. I know that, but I'm frustrated. Maybe you should just come back after they work this out. Sorry, Ursula. What's going on? While Merlin and Professor J discuss things, you tell Starlet about the woman at LB Dungeon. She immediately gives you a startled look. How do you know about that? You realize even Merlin and Professor J have gone silent. What you saw wasn't a dream or an illusion. It was something that really happened, but it was a long time ago. Like a few years? How in the world were you even able to see it? Why, I think what you experienced might be connected to our investigation. Starlight, don't drag Ursula into this. It's our problem. Maybe not. Can't you feel the energy coming off of Ursula? It's what we've been looking for. Huh? What energy? Professor, why did you say that? You let the cat out of the bag. We're supposed to be keeping its existence a secret. And there's no way that one of them is inside Ursula. Wait. I do feel it in Ursula. Merlin's expression turned to one of shock. Ursula, do you live with a sloth? A sloth? How did you end up with such horrific parasite? I've not met anyone powerful enough to detect me in some time. Surely you're not going to try and grow it. What? Grow a sloth? Ursula, I don't think you know what you're dealing with. Here, take this. I can definitely feel a sloth energy in you, but I truly don't know how it happened. If you place that item on the LB dungeon altar, you'll see for yourself what it means to be bound to a sloth. Merlin. You send a friend into a panic with those words. But you do have a point, Ursula. Just do as he say, then you'll understand. Seems the only way forward is to visit LB dungeon again. Everything around you dissolves. Unfortunately, that which you seek is not here. I see. I'm sorry. I once again sent you on a fool's errand, Starlet. It's fine. This is obviously very important to you. And after all, we're friends, are we not? Thank you, always. Should we go back? I think the other two already left. Starlet's such a good person. She's so understanding. I'm just thinking right now about how you've been so understanding so many times, Starlet. I really, What? Oh no, please don't let it happen again. Don't you wish you could be like her, a good person? Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Is she like half demon, demonic, succubus thing? No, don't let it have control. Don't let it win. Focus, Starlight. It's right here. She's proof that there's good in this world. But then there's so much more evil. And why should I fight for good if it's a losing battle? Why should I try to be a good myself? Why should I care who gets hurt? Is it Irwin? Irwin? Irwin, what are you mumbling to yourself about? Let's get out of here. Wait, what's wrong? Irwin? Can you hear me? She's nosy and annoying. Get rid of that woman. Maybe she is full demon. Or part demon. I mean, is this one of those games or quests where I have to fight back? Can I just let her beat me up? Destroy anything that stands in your way. I mean, they did give me potions. Maybe I'm supposed to fight her? Wow, how much health does she have? Ouch. She just bonked in me. Starlight, no, what am I doing? Starlight. It's Merlin and Professor J. Irwin, what have you done? Merlin, that's not Irwin. Starlight, are you alright? Are you hurt? Stay back. Merlin and I will put a stop to this. If only you had better control of the slaw. Oh, that's easy. Blocked. So much of other suffering. Critical hit. Now I have you. Irwin, please. I don't want to hurt you. We must find a way to calm her, or she will be completely taken over by the slaw. You wish not for the first time that you weren't half warmer. Oh. So she's half warmer, and her former side's trying to take over. Because of this dark energy power thing. Come on, Irwin, wake up. Maybe if it was all of the former's attack, maybe this was their plan all along. We shall figure this out. What's wrong with us? Guys, I think Irwin's trying to say something. Oof, I'm sorry. Unique background. Do you hear that? The question is, are they her words or the slaw's? We can't trust anything she says, not until we get the real Irwin back. You're right, we need to revert her to her original form at all costs. But how? Irwin. I'm sorry. Suddenly, you're surrounded by darkness. This must be the end of the memory. You should go see what Merlin has to say about this. So you saw it. Her name is Irwin. Long ago, she was one of us. She was a chain slasher who drew power from a spirit called the Slaw that was inside her. But the Slaw was challenging to control even for her. As you saw, wielding the Slaw power is dangerous, and I can feel the same energy in you. Have you heard a disembodied voice lately? Yeah, from a tree. But unlike her, I'm the chosen one. I got this. That's the Slaw, Irwin. Heard it too. Be careful when you use the Slaw's power. It's truly a double-edged sword. The stronger it gets you, the more it controls you. I don't know. Doesn't seem that bad. I can probably make it into coleslaw. Irwin always resists that power. That was a stupid joke. But I can't help but smile. But even she was eventually swallowed by that darkness. It's so cringy. Oh. Starlight, it's not your fault. There's nothing we could have done. It was so difficult for her. Because she was half warmer? What? Ursula, how did you know Irwin was half warmer? We were supposed to be the only one who knew. I heard her thoughts in the memory. You carefully explained that you heard her voice in your mind. And what are you thinking? You're hearing the other voice too? What does it matter? I'm haunted by that day Aaron transformed. It must have been excruciating for her, her screams. You remember something you heard in Irwin's thought. You mentioned a force that might help her resist. What was it that can be used to resist the Slaw? Background? Background. I have not heard that word in a while. You could only know if you really did hear her thoughts. How fascinating. How did you hear her? Whenever one of us has gone inside the memory, we never heard her thoughts. Perhaps the shared energy grants you more insight, but how? Merlin, we already know how to find out. As the realization hit them, they nod to each other. Is it another memory? What is this, the Matrix? Ursula, can you talk to her as she is now? I know it seems a bit strange to you, but well, see for yourself and you'll understand. This might work, but we have to explain later. Head to the front Pekka dungeon for now. You're here. Good. This is going to be difficult. Merlin, we better explain what's going on here. I'm sorry you have to come all the way out here, but it's the only way we can know for sure. The memory you saw, well, after that, we barely managed to calm her down. I may be a great mage, but I'm just not experienced with that kind of power. In the end, Erwin made her decision. That decision meant we could never speak of her or her power ever again. We tried every option we could think of, but in the end, none of us had none of us had the knowledge or strength to help her. I was thinking Linkin Park. We can't change the past. What we need from you is simple, Ursula. Go see Erwin directly. If you could understand her in that memory, then I think you have a shot at helping her now. I'm ready. Here, take this. To protect Erwin, I set up magical barriers in secret location. This will help you get past them. Place it on Pekka Dungeon altar now. Go. Oh, that's creepy. Quest received. Safe haven. Safe haven. Did I just smack it? You gingerly lay a hand on the smooth surface on the crystal. It's cold to touch. A blood-chilling power radiates from the crystal and seeps into your finger. It's so cold, you're almost shivering. The cold envelops your whole body. There's no escape. Who are you? You can just hear a faint voice calling out, and it feels as if someone's reaching out to you from the inside the crystal. This time, the intent is clear. Someone's waiting for your reply. What should you do? Tell her your name. Ursula. What a unique name. This place. The image of Erwin slumbering within the crystal forms in your mind. Comes to you like the echo of a distant dream. Her eyes, two different colors, suddenly locks on you. How did you? You jerk your hand back from the crystal, flinching in shock. You experience a sense of being dragged up from the depth of the ocean as you regain consciousness. You open your eyes to find yourself surrounded by the warrior expression of the three aces hero. Oh, they were aces. Ursula, are you okay? What happened? Are you sick? After you touched the crystal, it started glowing. Did you have a vision? What did you see? A quick glance at the crystal reveals that Erwin is still asleep inside. You compose yourself and explain. I see. Erwin powers comes through from her slaw. That's why I thought someone who also had one might be able to contact her. Seems the hypothesis was correct. How I wish I could also talk to her, but all we could do was watch you. Professor J grazes the surface of the crystal with his fingertip, but nothing happens. It didn't respond to me either. Erwin created this with her own power, so its mana is entirely different from mine's. Is it former powers? It seems that this crystal only responds to you, Ursula, but I don't have former powers. Well, I do have that lingering sloth power residing in me, though. Resonate with the crystal. Well, what happened if you touched it again? You place your hand on the crystal again. A strange voice chilling as the crystal surface invades your body. I apologize for earlier. I was surprised. I didn't think it was possible for someone to contact me. Her voice echoes within you. It's akin to telepathic connection. Telepathy, yes, you could call it that. I suppose you're the only one who can talk to me like this. Pity. I haven't formally introduced myself. I'm Erwin. I was once a friend to those three who now call you companion, but I never met them. Speaking with someone after not speaking for so long is strange. Ursulith, I have so many questions. How did you come here? Why are you able to communicate with me? And most importantly, what is your relationship with Merlin, Sterling, and Professor J? You also carry a slaw inside you, but your power is unstable. You cannot leave it in that state. It's too dangerous. Could turn on you. Yes, I can explain more later. If you're friends with Merlin, then you must be worthy of trust. Erwin pauses, deep in thought. We should handle urgent matters first. If we continue this way, your consciousness may become overwhelmed by this law. I'll teach you now how to control it. Close your eyes for a moment. You soon find yourself standing in an empty space. Erwin stands before you. Surprised? I thought perhaps we could communicate through the slaw. I transfer some of my slaw power to you. Lo and behold, that allows us to sink deeper into our own mind. This is how truly evolved creatures like us communicate. Well, isn't that condescending? What you perceive as my body isn't my real body, of course. I'm still sealed inside the crystal, as you saw. She sure seems calm for having been trapped for such a long time. You still don't understand what the slaw is, do you? The slaw is a type of spirit that leeches negative emotion from enemies, feeling like fear, depression, rage. Collectively, these make up the force we know as Dorcha. The slaw feasts on these emotions, empowering you to unleash powerful attacks against your foe. If you make a normal attack with Chain Blade, you unleash Dorcha from the enemy you hit. You can see the amount of Dorcha you got stored up in the gauge above. Be sure to keep an eye on it during battle. See, the trade-off is that the more Dorcha you leech and use the power to your attacks, the greater your risk of being mentally overtaken and consumed by the slaw. Her happy expression flickers for a brief moment to one of sadness. All this time I thought I was the only one like this. Pretty wild to meet someone else who knows what it's like. Anyways, why don't we start with how to get Dorcha? Like I told you before, just normal attack. Attack with Chain Blade, you leech Dorcha from your opponent. That in turn powers more attacks. Pretty simple, right? The Chain Blade is in your hands. But remember, once you stop resonating with the crystal, the Chain Blade will disappear. Try leeching 10 Dorcha. Okay. Man, I'm powerful. Easy peasy. The runes don't act as a conduit for Dorcha you leech from enemies whenever you use the chain. Well then, now you know how to leech Dorcha, yes? Remember, Dorcha flows with the root of your enemy's negative emotion. Your mind and body can only handle so much at one time. Once you reach your limit, you need to consume it with a skill. The runestone embedded in the chain blade serve as a conduit to help you leech and consume Dorcha, and regulates the flow of Dorcha energy. I can't stress enough how imperative it is that you do not break or damage it. Now try using some of that Dorcha to perform the chain impale skill. You learn the basic of controlling the slaw if you practice leeching and consuming Dorcha. Chain impales targets a nearby enemy and skewers them with a deadly piercing thrust. Go on, give it a try. Wow. It's higher than my normal smash, which is like 1k. How much will it be crit? Hey, you learn pretty quickly. You already know how to leech Dorcha and placate this law. So let's put everything together now, and remember, you only use chain impale after you leech enough Dorcha. Oh, someone actually survived. Not bad, you learn fast. So tell me, are you the newest member of the Ace? No, I wish. I'm not that good. Glad to speak with a kindred spirit, so to speak. You explain everything that transpired up to now. Erwin's eyes sparkle with amusement as you speak. She seems genuinely happy to hear your stories of Erwin. Is their name pronounced Erwin? Irin? Malaysian. Do you think you can accomplish what I could not? Erwin, stares at you, daring you to answer. Well, I've been awake for a while now, and all this action and excitement has tuckered me out. Perhaps we can meet again soon. Now then. The air begins to shift and swirls around you. There's not a lot I can do in my seal state. I have so low energy. Well, you know how to use torture. Even if it's just a basic, that should keep you safe for now. There's so much more I want to know, but communicating like this is taxing for me. Would you please find me again soon? There's so much more I can teach you about controlling this law. Plus, you're also really bored trapped in that crystal, I bet. Please tell the others about me. Oh, and one more thing. Could you ask Merlin if the advice I gave him was working out? I always been curious. Okay, I really reached my limit now. But it was nice. I never thought I'll speak to anyone again. It was refreshing. As you release your hands on the crystal, you hear Erwin mutter something unintelligibly. Talk to Merlin. You drag yourself back to reality. And you can sense that the crystal power is spent. You have to wait before you can contact Erwin again. Talk to Merlin. How did it go? Could you hear Erwin's voice? What can you tell us? As you explain how the power of Slock linked with you, Merlin grows more and more skeptical. That's quite surprisingly, actually. Are you sure? All we saw was you holding the crystal with your eyes closed. To think you were able to talk to her. What did she say? I can only imagine how trapped she must feel. If only we could get her out of there. How did Erwin looks? Their concern for Erwin is touching, and you feel compelled to share everything you can with them. She told you to come back, but she doesn't plan to be sealed forever, does she? Sealed as she was for so long, and surprisingly, she managed to maintain her calm demeanor. Everything went according to plan. She was able to withstand the slaw and maintain her consciousness. And she returned to sleep. Since your conversation, she said the crystal would limit her power. It must have taken everything she had to speak with you, but she asked you to return to her, which means she may be able to help free her from the seal. I think you might be right, Starlet. There's no way to know for sure, but if Erwin asked for you, then there may be hope for her after all. I'm sure she wouldn't want Ursula to suffer the same fate she did. That must be why she taught you how to control this law. Let's go. We can come back the next time. We need to talk to Erwin. There's so much things I wish I could say to Erwin right now. Starlet gazed at you with envious eyes. What happened all those years ago? What was it Erwin went to ask Merlin? Oh yeah. Asked about the advice Merlin got. Merlin immediately begins coughing and sputtering in surprise. What advice? What are you talking about? Well, that certainly seemed to get Merlin all flustered. Just what kind of advice did he get from Erwin? What's wrong, Merlin? Erwin gave you advice? Yeah, but it's no biggie, you know, just how to put this. We talk about the future of the Aces, you know, stuff like that. That hardly seems like no biggie. Let's talk about it later. Anyways, Ursula, I'm glad you spoke with Erwin. That's proof that she really awakened. Merlin leans in to speak to you in confidential whisper. She didn't share anything untowards, right? It's a bit of an embarrassing subject for me. It's clear he's uncomfortable about the topic. Erwin might be able to shed some light on the matter once she's awakened. Ursula, I must thank you for communicating with Erwin on our behalf. I'm certainly surprised you can do so while she's sealed, but we're all grateful. She's important to us. We met her a long time ago. She had a powerful and practical approach to everything she did. We grew to depend on her, maybe too much. It didn't matter how many mistakes I made. Erwin was always at my side helping me. She was like a big sister I could always depend on. We had to respect her decision to seal herself. But maybe now you can help us find another solution. After all this time, we have another chance. Ursula, please continue training with her so that you eventually be able to control this law power. You'll find Erwin waiting where we sealed her. To go where she is, take this pass and drop it on the dungeon. Yeah. We did this before. Merlin sure looks hopeful about this whole endeavor. Ursula, I have something to tell you. What Erwin told you to ask me about. What was that about? Suddenly he blushes. Oh, that's cute. That advice? Well, Merlin makes a show of clearing his throat before continuing. Please tell Erwin that, well, I'm not the scared boy I used to be. I learn and grow so much as a person. I even become the leader of the Ace Heroes. She doesn't need to worry about me anymore. Merlin looks as though a huge weight has been lifted from his shoulders. Surely Erwin will know what he means. I'm glad that's off my chest. I hate keeping things bottled up inside. Now please, meet with Erwin again and tell her why I told you. He then turns around and immediately dashes off. Yo, you couldn't give me a sprint potion or something? Okay. Starlet? Nope. Once again, you reach out your hand to touch the crystal smooth surface. A strange chill creeps up your fingertips and across your whole body. You came back. Welcome. Have you adjusted to having the slaw? It's a bit tricky, I know, but you're doing much better than I expected. Perhaps it's because you're a Malaysian. You said there are more like you? So much has changed since I was sealed away, and there is so much to learn about the world now. What happened to Erin? I've been gone. Are Merlin, Starlet, and Professor J doing alright? And who are the new members of the Ace? Perhaps one day I can break free and see them again. Until I can break free of the seal, I can only talk to you, but that's alright. You're pretty interesting after all. Do you know how I came to be sealed? She continues calmly. Strange to speak of it after all this time. You already know that former blood runs through my vein. Yep. You see, one of my parents was a former. Yeah, you wouldn't know it from my looks. Guess I was lucky in that respect. I mean, aside from the eyes. But where I wasn't lucky was being born with the power of the slaw. Her calm voice suddenly takes on a dark tone. It's a terrible burden, as you know, a blight that has followed my family across generations. Still, once I learned to control it, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. The slaw power and strength is what led me to the Aces. Even bickering as often as we did, my best memories are of the Aces. They were the one bright spot in my life. Erwin's expression softened as the memory. But the former seek power, and mine was irresistible to them. I was in the endless struggle against them. But no matter how skilled and powerful I was, there was always a limit to how much I could do. The formers grew much more persistent, and with each passing day, their numbers ever increasing, always attacking. Some days it was all we could do to keep them at bay. I realize now what they were doing. They were trying to get her to rely on power, on her dark inner power, like Naruto, when he relies too much on the Nine-Tailed Fox. Or some other anime reference I'm sure you guys can think of. They were testing my physical and mental limits. They never stopped trying to push me past my breaking point. I'm sorry I can't keep talking about this. It pains me to remember. From the outside, I'll probably look like I'm suspended in time in that crystal inside though. I still feel so much regret, even so some anger to be honest. It's the slaw running rampant, leaving it smothering wake in my soul. Her voice quaver, and she shakes her head. Is it quaver? We must make absolutely certain that you are well armed against your slaw. I'll teach you another method of controlling it. We must prevent the slaw from taking your body. It's a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. Luckily, yours isn't as strong as mine, so you never need to take any measure as drastic as sealing yourself away in the crystal in some dark cave. Gonna level with you. I wouldn't recommend it. 0 out of 10 stars on the fun scale. I mean, is she conscious while she's sealed, or is it like hibernation? Now then, are you ready? I'm ready, ma'am. Let's see if we can't strengthen our resonance this time. Close your eyes and just relax. Here we are. Your new favorite training spot, right? Haha. You remember how to leash torture from your enemies and use it to supplement your own skills, right? Well, sometimes the situation requires a large amount of torture right away. In those cases, use the torture conversion skill. It can transform HP into torture on the spot. You're basically feeding large amount of HP to the slaw, but do that too much and you may end up worse off than you started. For practice, I made it so you can only get torture through torture conversion. Any monsters you're about to face can only be harmed by chain impale. Practice torture conversion by using chain impale to attack. If you need HP, use potions. Alright. Conversion and then impale. Good work, Ursula. Remember, this skill really only intended for emergency situation out there. In the real world, you should prioritize other chain blading skills. I should really practice my reading skills. Like, for example, Chain Crush. Chain Crush grapples a distant enemy, swings them into the air, and then smashes them into the ground. That sounds badass. Like, how much strength does she have in her arms to do that? Or is it just magic? Oh, wait, no, it is magic because she's using the slaw energy to do it. You barely have to lift a finger to damage your enemies with this one. I replenished the health you lost to the torture conversion. Now remember, your normal attack leeches torture, and consuming is how you make your chain crush truly devastating. Do I have energy? Yes, I do. And then conversion. This is some nice music. Better than that math dungeon one. It's pretty hyped. The more I see, the more I'm amazed at how quickly you learn. I suppose I should expect nothing less from a member of the Ace Heroes. I'm a member? Now it's time for the real test. Defeat all of the summoned ghosts. Easy. They're no threat to me. Your form could use some work, but you ought to be proficient with the chain blade in no time. And that's all the energy I have for today. So many limitations when one is sealed. We can continue your lesson again soon. The air begins to shift. If it wasn't for the seal, using this much mana would be easier than breathing. Nothing we can do about it for now though. If I could, I'd teach you everything I know today. But it's better than that you improve your form first. For now, use the chain blade to practice chain crush. And we can cover more the next time I see you. Nod your head. You have no problem using torture conversion, and once you get better with the chain blade, it'd be even better if you master chain crush first. Torture is pure darkness and it strengthens the slaw's power. It's manifestation of the enemy's rage, pain, fear, and violence. It's a darkness that can only be found even in the best of us. And it's the slaw feeds on the darkness. I used to hate it. I hated what it made me. The fact that I grew more powerful from the pain and suffering of others sickens me. But I learned to live with it and use that power to protect what was good in the world. Starlit said, well, she also thought it could be a force for good. She made me feel worthy. Erwin brightens every time she talks about the ace hero. What was it Merlin wanted to say to Erwin? Tell her what Merlin said. You quickly relay Merlin's message. Merlin said that? He was always a mischievous little brat. Seems he's finally grown out of it. Perhaps Starlet sees the good in him too. I still remember how upset he got when Starlet was sad. Of course, he never admitted to anyone, but he always had a soft spot for her. Ooh, he has a crush on her? She paused for a moment in a quiet contemplation, then continues. Militian, never forget who and what you are. Some Lion King moment. Never forget why you want to be stronger. If you lose sight of that, well, you end up like me. Yeah, I think that's enough of the subject. Until we meet again, consider what I told you here today. Then, I'll be gone. Talk to Merlin. You told her what I said? You tell Merlin about your conversation with Erwin. She actually complimented me? I mean, past or present, I've always been pretty great. I'm just glad she finally acknowledging it. You look like that just made your day. Merlin always been happy to get Erwin's approval. He always looked up to her. Well, she's always been pretty amazing. There's no better role model than her. That's definitely something we can all agree on. Seems Erwin's importance to the group has been understanding up to this point. If she could see us now, I know she'd be proud. Heh. They chatter amongst themselves excitedly. Once Erwin can speak to them again, it'll be wonderful to unite the Ace heroes.